Hi everyone and welcome back. I'm really excited about this class today. It is one of my most requested classes. It's called Hip Mobility. So if you've been sitting and scrolling and slouching, or if you've been working out at home and doing a lot of strength-based work, this class is for you. Okay, so in terms of what props you'll need, you actually really don't need anything, but if you have a block lying around, grab it. And if not, a water bottle will do. But even that, you really don't need anything. You'd be fine without it, okay? And just a reminder before we get into the practice, you can follow me along on Instagram at Liz Doris Yoga. And I post 3 to 5 minute movement practices a few times a week, okay? So let's begin. I always like to begin on the back because it gives us an opportunity to ground the nervous system and to release the tension in the body. So why don't you come down right onto your back? You can either have your knees bent or you can have your legs straight and just let your arms go, or they can rest on your belly. But just take a couple of minutes here to feel the bones of the body start to release down. So begin to feel the whole back of the head drop and feel the weight of the shoulder blades. Let the shoulder blades ground. Feel the weight of the sacrum and the weight of the leg bones. And because we're working with the pelvic area today, bring your awareness to your lower back and soften the muscles. And then notice if you have a high lumbar arch or a low lumbar arch. Notice if one side of your body feels a little heavier than the other. Notice if one hip hikes up a little higher towards your shoulder than the other. So we're just noticing what you brought in today before we begin to move. And then let's connect with the breath. So start to feel the breath as it comes in through the nostrils, brushing the back of your throat, and feeling the breath descend. And see if you can notice the belly rise and fall. Using the breath as a bridge to connect the mind and the body, and using the breath as an anchor to focus the mind. And take about 3 more slow, long, soft breaths. Okay, and we'll begin to move now with this very same sense of ease and presence, and we'll begin, we're going to do a first little, it's called a pre-test. So what I'd like you to do is take your right ankle on top of your left knee, and then interlace your hands underneath the thigh or just below the knee. And we're not really going to move anywhere. I just want you to feel. So feel into that right buttock area, maybe the hamstring or all the inner thigh, outer thigh. Notice for you if it feels tight and where it feels tight. So get very specific about what it feels like and the location of that. And then we're going to switch sides. So left ankle on top of right, and then start to interlace the hands underneath the right thigh or just below the knee, and then start to feel on this side. So right away I can tell that my left side's a little bit tighter than my right, and notice if it's a bigger area that's tight or where that is. So find the location, feel it, be very specific, and then release, because we'll come back and do a post test in a little bit. All right, so then just bring your arms out to T, and we'll begin with some gentle pelvic tilts on the back. So begin by pressing the lower back down into the mat, and then on the in-breath, start to arch through the lower back. So just take your time. Exhale, press lower back down, feel the tailbone curl up. in-breath arch, fill your belly, and then on the exhale again, just press the lower back down. So just start to go back and forth. It's a really nice way to begin a practice when you're working with the pelvis. It starts to hydrate into the lower back. Lots of blood and lymph coming into the area, and just starting to also just simply linking the movement with the breath. And then come back to neutral and keep your feet right where they are, hip width, and then start to slowly drop the knees to the right. And slowly so that you can actually feel. And then come back up and drop it to the left. So, no, and flex your feet. It's a little bit like a skiing action. So take your time, go back and forth here, and notice where the tight spots are, or where it feels a bit sticky. And then last rotation here, come back up to center and then widen your feet. So take them as wide as the mat. And if you have longer legs, maybe even wider, the knees point straight up, the toes are forward. And then it's the same thing. Flex the feet, drop the knees to the right, and then bring them back up and drop them to the left. And notice, is there any change in the stretch or the feeling of the stretch by taking the feet wider? You may feel that a little bit more into the quads, a bit more of a quad stretch. This is a deeper internal and external rotation here. You can even drop the head the opposite way that the knees are going. Notice how well the cervical spine is moving, the back of the neck. And then bring it all the way back up, and then start to walk your feet back in so that they're hip width. Lengthen your left leg out. Take your right hand to your right knee and start to guide the knee towards your chest. And then imagine just in that right groin area, it's like soft putty. So you're just letting that knee move in toward the chest, softening the groin. And then open the right knee on an angle to the right. Drop your right elbow down. And we're going to start some activation. So you're going to have your right hand at the outside of the right knee. Press the outside of the knee into the hand and let the hand resist. So notice there's some muscles that you probably will notice activated in the outer bank of the hip area. And you keep pressing. You press the outer knee into the hand and the hand resists. Is maybe about 25-30% effort, and then release that. And now take the hand to the inner knee, press the inner knee into the hand and let the hand resist, and notice which muscles are activating when you practice this way. Pressing the hand, so the knee's not going to go anywhere. It's like an isometric contraction, pressing it in, and then release that. Now take your right hand underneath your knee and underneath the knee crease and kick that right leg out to the right, and then bring it back in toward the chest. So you can link your movement to your breath here. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, bend it in, and just keep moving and breathing. This is great dynamic work. We're starting to open up through the inner seam of the legs and the hamstrings, and press through the heel and spread through the toes. I just love working with opening up the bottom of the feet. And then bring it all the way back in. And then we're going to roll all the way onto the left hip. So left hip, take your left hand underneath your right knee and kick that right knee out to the side, and then bend it back in towards your chest. And then kick it out to the side and bend it back in. Good. So just feel pressing through the heel and the toe mounds as you stretch it out, and then feel the glide of the femur as you bring the knee back in toward the chest. Good. And then we're going to add those two movements together. So you're going to roll back onto your back. Right elbow is the kickstand. As you inhale, kick right leg out to the right, bend the knee back in, rock onto the left hip, kick it out, and then back onto the back, kick it out to the right. So you're passing your right leg from your right hand to your left hand. And when you come back, when you're kicking it out to the right, make sure you're not tipping that left hip up. You want to stay right in the center of your sacrum. And then you roll onto the left hip. Let's do one more full cycle. I really like this one. I feel like things start to loosen up. And then come back to center and plant that foot. And let's go to the other side. So you're going to bend this left knee and then hug the left knee in. So really start to soften through the groin here. Pull the knee in toward the chest. And then release the left knee out to the left. Bring the left elbow down, left hand to the outside of the knee, and we'll begin with activation. Press the knee into the hand and let the hand resist. So feel that. You keep pressing again. It's about, 25-30% effort. Press. Keep pressing. And then you bring the hand to the inner knee. Press the knee into the hand. Let the hand resist. And feel the activation here. The knee is still opening to the side, and the knee's not going anywhere, but you are pressing it into the hand. And then release that. Bring the left hand underneath the knee crease and bring the pelvis back to neutral. And inhale, kick the left leg out to the side. And then exhale, bend it in toward the chest. So keep going out to the side and in. And remember, you're not tipping that right hip up as you kick the left leg out. Yeah. And then so start to notice where you feel it on this side. You may feel it a lot in the hamstrings or maybe the inner seam of the leg. And then last one here, and let's bring those, and then we're going to roll now onto the right hip. And then the right hand is going to be underneath the left knee. Left hand can be out to T, and kick that left leg to the side and then hug it back in and to the side. So just take your time, breathing, feeling the femur glide in the socket as you bring that knee in toward the chest. And last one here, and then we'll bring those two movements together. So you go back onto your back, and the left leg kicks out to the left, and roll onto the right hip. The right hand supports, and then you go back and forth. So you're passing your left leg from your left hand to your right hand. And just keep moving. Open up the bottom of the foot, reach through the heel every time. This will be a one last full sequence through, and then come back and bend your knees and plant your feet. Okay, so we're going to move on. Start to take your right ankle on top of your left knee, and then you're going to interlace your hands underneath your, just underneath your thigh, and see if you can start to make some circles on your sacrum. We're not even doing the pose test yet. We're still going to get into some more activation here. Okay, then from here, press your right ankle into your left thigh. And so the thigh is resisting. So just press that ankle into the thigh and notice what muscles are activating when you do this. So feel that again, 25% effort. Then release that contraction. Bring the left hand down onto the ground because you don't need it, and bring your right hand to the inner part of your right knee. Press your right inner knee into your hand and let the hand resist, and hold that. And there's a lot of activation going on here. So press the inner knee into your hand, let the hand resist, then keep your hand right where it is and move your knee toward the front of the room, front of the mat. Then bring the hand back toward the knee. Press the knee into the hand. Ooh, I can feel I'm a little shaken here already. And then press the knee into the hand, hand resists, and then move the knee away again. There's an external rotation. You're trying to use those external rotator muscles. Press the hand back to the knee. Knee presses into the hand resists. And then from here, move the knee away one last time. And then relax the hands down. And then from here, keep your right leg in the exact same shape as you tap the left heel down. So, and then, or you can go a little bit further. You can tap the left heel away from you and then bring it back up. And if you're not sure what I mean, just have a look at the screen and you're tapping down, and you keep this right leg in this external rotation position. So there's a lot of activation going on in the abdominal center as well. And then come into the best part, which is the passive stretch. So now come back here, and you can rock a little bit side to side, right ankle on top of left knee. And this is where we do the post test. So take a minute here, close your eyes and feel. Notice if there's been any change from when you first began and did the first test. Does it feel the same? Has it moved? Is the feeling gone entirely? So smooth the breath here again. And then slowly release that. And let's lengthen the body before we move to the other side. So reach your fingertips toward the back of the room, toes toward the front of the room, and reach through the right fingertips, right toes. Left fingertips, left toes. Open up the whole side body, front of the body, back of the body. Elongate. Take a big breath in through the nose. Empty it out through the mouth. And let's come to the other side. So now left ankle on top of right knee, and then interlace underneath the right thigh. Start to circle on your sacrum. Just circling around. And then let's start some activation again. So start to press your left ankle into your right thigh and let your thigh resist. And notice what muscles are engaging when you press the ankle in. So feel that, and then release that contraction, and then take your right hand on the ground and take your left hand to the inner knee, and you press your knee into your hand, and the hand resists. You hold that. Then keep your hand where it is, but move your knee away from your hand. That's strengthening. Then you bring the hand back to the knee, press the knee into the hand. Press it, press it, press it. Then you move the knee away from the hand as best you can, even if it's a millimeter. Don't bring the knee back to the hand now, but bring the hand to the knee. Press the knee one more time. Press the knee into the hand. Then the knee moves away, and then you release that left hand down and try tapping the right heel down and bring it back up, or you can straighten it right out and tap it. But the whole idea is to get this left leg, this aerial leg is still in an external rotation, which is a lot of effort to hold it there. And there's a lot of trunk stability required when I take the leg all the way out, bring it all the way back. Now back into the passive stretch. So start to just maybe sway a little bit from side to side. Notice how it feels. And now do the post test on this side. How does it feel? Any different? Has the sensation gone away? Has it moved? Is it a little less? Let's connect with your breath here, slowing down. And then come right back to center. And let's lengthen the body one more time. This time, keep the legs together right to the midline. Point your toes toward the ceiling so you reach through your heels. Interlace the hands and then spin them toward the back of the room. So inhale, get lots of length. Inhale through your nose. Empty it out through your mouth. Draw the lower back waist down. Inhale deeply again. Now stick your tongue out. Good. And that helps to release the tension in the neck and the jaw. So then relax the arms, bend your knees, plant your feet. And then you're just going to roll to your side and slowly work your way up. So we're all going to meet on all fours here in cat-cow. Start with your shoulders directly above your wrists and your hips above your knees. And then begin by tipping the tailbone up, drop the belly and launch your chest forward. And then exhale, start to tuck the tailbone under and round. Press your hands in firmly, drop the head, and inhale the other way. Take your time, just trying to articulate every single vertebrae as you move. Pressing your hands. Feel the shoulder blades move down the back on the in-breath. Feel the shoulder blades move away from each other on the exhale. One more round. Feeling the belly on the in-breath. And then come back to neutral. Okay, from here, we're going to meet in a position called the 90-90. So let's work on the front leg, the right leg first, and don't worry about the back leg for a second. So set it up so that the hip is in line with the knee, and the knee is in line with the heel. So the knee isn't coming way out to the side. It's right in line with the hip, and the heel isn't dropping in, it's coming out. Now, if this is better for your knee to have your heel in, that's okay, no problem. Now let's look at the back leg. The hip in line with the knee, and the knee comes, and the heel is in line with the knee as well. So if you bring the heel in, that's not wrong, no problem. That's actually a regression. And if it's better for your knee, you keep it there. But otherwise, you can bring the heel to the height of the knee, in line with the knee. Now, navel in line with the knee, and then you lengthen. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is just some mobility here. So bring your left hand to your left thigh. By the way, if you're tipping way over, prop yourself up onto a block, a blanket, or a pillow. Okay? Left hand to left thigh, and just start to rock it back and forward. So this is an external rotation of the thigh bone going back and an internal coming forward. So just bring your mind's eye, just picture this whole leg bone as it's moving in the socket. And notice for you, does it feel really smooth, or does it feel like it's a little bit sticky? And then we're going to add some spinal rotation. So sweep that left arm right around and look toward the left. And then when you exhale, sweep it all the way back this way or behind you. So you're just going back and forth, and you're still practicing this internal external rotation with the hip. So it's still dropping sit bone down and then bringing it forward. Now bring the arm up a little higher, because you'll get into different tissues when you do that. And then you can reach all the way up. Reach up, lengthen, and then exhale and reach, and maybe bring it down and around, and then come all the way back down, and then back to neutral. Okay, now let's come to the other side. Take your time to set it up. It always takes a little bit of time initially when you're working this way. Hip in line with knee, knee in line with heel. Then you work the back leg. Hip, knee, and heel. So take some time. And then again, the navel is in line with the knee here. So sit nice and tall. And we'll begin our little movement here. So have your hand on your thigh so you can feel that. So exhale, let your sit bone drop toward the ground. And then on the inhale, rock it forward. And you know, I'm saying inhale and exhale, but you can change your breath pattern. You do whatever feels right for you. Just keep moving. And notice on this side, so everybody has a different history, obviously, with their body. Some people have some people have had a history of surgeries or accidents. Everybody has different bone lengths, and everybody has different ways that the bones fit in the socket. So your range of motion could be very different than someone else's. So you just feel your own range of motion here and work within that. And now let's bring the rotation in. So sweep the fingertips back and all the way around. Now everybody also has different lower back issues. So some lower backs really don't like to rotate and twist. So if that's your lower back, then you'll avoid this big twisting action. Reach up if you can and back down. Reaching, lengthening, turning, back down. Let's sweep it all the way back across and then all the way back down. And then back to neutral here. Okay, Now, let's go right back to the first side and we'll begin some activation. It's a good idea to think about setting your shin parallel to the edge of the mat, whether it's the side of the mat or the front of the mat. That's a good place to begin. Hip in line with knee, knee in line with heel, navel in line with the front knee. And then you work the back leg, hip, knee, heel. Okay, so let's begin with activation. The first thing to do is let's just press this front knee down. Like the knee goes down, the shin and the ankle. Press it down and then see if you can lift it up. And you may need to have your hands behind you to do that. So you decide where your hands need to be and you lift up and then press it down. And keep doing that. Now you may not be able to lift the foot off the ground at all or the shin off the ground at all. That's okay. Just try, because then even the action of trying is going to engage the muscles. Press it down one last time. Press and then release. And then we're going to work the back leg a little bit. See if you can press your, let's start with this one. Press the whole knee, shin, and heel down. Press it down, ankle, and release. And then press into the inner foot as you try to lift the knee. That's an external rotation. Press the knee down when it lands, and then press into the inner part of the foot as you lift the knee. Not forcing. And let's do that one more time. Again, the knee may lift, it may not. Don't worry about it. Just trying will activate the muscles. Now you're going to press the knee down and see if you can lift the heel up, the foot up, the shin up, and then press it down. And then you lift the shin and the foot and then press it down. And one more time. And again, it may lift, it may not, but just try. And let's go back and forth. Lift the knee. And press the knee as you lift the foot and shin. One more time, activating. Breathing. And then release. Excellent. So now from here, press the knee down, shin down, ankle down, press it down, hands forward, lengthen forward, and fold forward. You can have your whole hand or all your fingers on the ground. You're pressing the whole time as you go up and down. So folding forward here. Now to progress this, you slowly take one finger away or all fingers away. Maybe the hands are behind you. This is much more challenging, and much more challenging yet, the arms come out to the side and then they come forward. So this is the most challenging, and I'm kind of tipping to the side, so I'm losing my form a little bit. So I'm going to stay right here. That'll be the last one. And then let's come forward with the hands on the ground and let's just fold here. This is a variation on pigeon. So many of you have probably done pigeon before, but sometimes traditional pigeon can be a little precarious on the knee. So you're just pressing down, probably feeling a little bit of a stretch or a lot of a stretch here. Connect with your breath. And then take your time and come all the way back up. Okay, let's come to the other side here. There's lots of different ways you can kind of bring it around, but I think we'll just take the easy escape route. So now the left shin is in front. I feel like my mat's a little off center here. The left shin is in front, left hip, left knee, left ankle, and then look back here. Make sure you eyeball it. Have a look. Navel in line. Sit nice and tall, and let's begin with the front leg again. Press the knee and the shin and the ankle down, so there's some activation there, and then see if you can lift, and then press. And again, your hands may be behind you, that's no problem. And a way to progress this one is, we begin with the hands down, but eventually you start to see if you can bring the hands away. But if you're brand new to this, I would definitely have the hands down. See how it goes. This foot may lift, it may not. And then press it down one more time. And then let's work with the back leg. So let's press the whole knee, shin, and ankle. Press, feel that activation. And then press into the inner part of the foot as you lift the knee. There's an external rotation of that leg. And I can feel that. And then press the knee and then up again. So see how you do. Pressing. And then lifting, and you are pressing into the inner edge of the foot. Last one, press and lift, and then press, and let's press into the knee and lift the foot. There's your internal rotation. And repeat. So you're lifting the foot and the shin if you can, and down, and up, and last one. Notice if one side's easier than the other, and then release. Now see if we can go up and lift the knee, and then lift the foot. Go back and forth. Good. Last one here. And then you're going to press the whole knee, shin, foot down. Press, press, press in activation. And then release. Okay, so now from here, make sure the navel's in line with the knee and lift up nice and tall. And you can start to walk your hands forward. And then lengthen forward, but you press the knee, shin, heel, and then all the way back up. So again, there's a variety of things you can do with the hands. You can plant the whole hand, or just 4 fingers, or 3, or 2, or 1, or no hands. So from here, I like to activate through my fists, like not too strong, but just making a little fist for a little bit more global tension. And you can work with the hands out this way or all the way forward. That's a definite progression here. See how you do. And then slowly let's come into that forward fold and take a few breaths here. So you're lengthening, you're not rounding here. See if you can pull your sternum forward. See if you can pull your navel towards your sternum. And then stay here, rooting down, connecting with the breath. And then slowly come all the way back up. So the last little bit in this seated series here is we're going to come to face the side of the mat. Go a little bit wider with your feet. Pull your heels towards you and have your hands in the inner, grabbing onto the ankles. And then sit up nice and tall here. And instead of pushing the knees right away down to the ground, press your inner knees into your elbows and let your elbows resist. And you can feel, or can you feel, the activation in the inner seam of the legs. And then keep your elbows right where they are as you begin to now move your knees down to the ground, using your own strength. And then bring the elbows back to the knees and press the knees up into the elbows. Let the elbows resist. You're still sitting tall. I know there's a little flexion of the spine here. Now, knees go away again. Use your strength to move the knees down toward the ground. Then the elbows come back to meet the knees. Press the knees one more time into the elbows. And then let the elbows now very gently, it could be a millimeter, let the elbows move the knees away, down. Little bit more range. And then release. Whoo! Okay. Bring the legs out to straight, hands can be behind, and let's just do a little internal, external rotation. So see how I bring my toes, my big toes touch, and then they move away and back, and just kind of do this flip-flopping in and out and in and out. Get the circulation moving through the legs all the way up into the pelvis. And then release. Okay, let's come. We're going to do a little bit more stability work, and then we'll finish with a really nice passive stretch. So if you have a block, great. You'll bring it to the right side of the front of your mat, and if not, use a water bottle. No problem. Either one works just fine. Okay, so come to the front of the mat standing, or you'll be kind of halfway on the mat, let's say, and standing nice and tall here. So we're going to work on our hip hinge. So we're going to begin to shift the weight onto the left foot. You can start with the hands on the hips. And then you're going to begin to fold and tap. So when you take that right leg back, there's a slight internal rotation. Don't even really worry about how high the leg comes, but you're quite strong in the standing leg. You can feel how hard you're working in that standing leg. If this feels easy for you, the next progression would be to pick the block up and place it back down where it was. And then you work on that one for a little bit. And if that feels really easy for you, you're going to pick the block up and then place it in a different location. So you're going to maybe put it over here. So when you change the location, you're changing the load to the tissues, and then you're going to change locations again. And it may throw you off balance a little bit. So it challenges your balance, which is a good thing, and your proprioception. And then you go back, and let's do one more time. Take your time, and then come all the way back up and release that foot down. Shake that out a little bit. And then, so if you were going to work with the left leg, so you want to bring the block or the prop to the left side of the mat. And we're going to shift the weight onto the right foot. So really strong standing leg, standing tall, hands to the hips. And when you're ready, you're going to start to fold forward, hinging right from the groin crease and then back up. So take your time. Now, can you notice how much the ankle is engaging? All the muscles around the ankle and the foot, and the muscles around the knee and the glute. And I don't even have to tell you to engage any abdominal muscles, any anterior core muscles, because they're kicking in. You're giving them a job to do, and so they're kicking in. And you can pick the block up, and you have to use that same hand to change the location of the block. And it's really good if you weeble wobble, because then all those muscles have to kick in to correct you and bring you back to the midline. Okay, last one here. And then you'll come all the way back up and release it down. Good work. That's just fun. I learned that from Catherine Bruni-Young from Strength-Based Training, and I just think it's a fun one. So let's do a sun salutation to come back down to the mat. Have your feet wherever they're comfortable, really, and then on the in-breath, reach up. Get lots of length. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen forward, and then plant your hands and step all the way back into plank. So feel really stable here, and then bring the knees down and shrug the shoulders back. So you're building strength every time you lower here. Keep the front of the shoulders away from the ground, and the tops of the shoulders away from your ears. As you inhale, pull the chest forward. The legs are strong. And then on the exhale, curl the toes under, back into down dog. So let's take 2 full cycles of breath here. I really like this idea of getting upside down every single day. It's good food for the brain. And it can give you a different perspective on things, just getting upside down. And then shift forward, bring your knees down, and then we're going to work all the way onto our back for a final passive stretch. So back onto your back, and you're going to take your right thigh on top of your left, and then drop your knees in toward each other. And this may be it for you. This may be this will be the end right here. Or you can start to take your hands, one hand to one shin, one hand to the other shin, or maybe to the ankles or to the heels, and then flex your feet. Then the idea is to bring your knees towards your chest and your feet away from each other. So you'll probably start to feel something here in the right glute area. This is a right glute experience. So now you just stay here and connect with your breath. So you're right in the center of the sacrum. You can rock, it's not wrong to rock, but you decide where you kind of feel it most. And we begin to drop here and connect with the breath. Smooth the breath. Empty the jaw. Waggle the jaw if there's some tension creeping in there. Soften your shoulders. And then just before we switch sides, lengthen your legs up and point and flex and point and flex, and then do some circles in both directions. Ankle circles. And then now cross your left thigh on top of your right. You can take your hands to your shins, your ankles, or your heels. And then you can also explore how high you want your feet. So they can be a little higher up, like you're hanging onto, riding a chopper, handlebars are high up, or you can release them down. So you'll find a place that feels right for you. And you just connect with the breath here. And then soften where you can soften. It's a good idea to get to know where your holding patterns are. We all have them. Sometimes we hold the muscles around the eyes or around the mouth, or the jaw, or the shoulders, or the glutes, or the belly. Soften where you can. Locate that place that feels tight and bound. Just imagine you could send your breath there. And then again, begin to lengthen your legs up. Point and flex and point and flex. I like doing this just as really, and circle, really flushes the legs, drains the legs, and it hydrates the lower back when you do this as well. There's lots of meridians in the big toes and baby toes, so you get the energy moving, the meridians being the energy lines in the body, according to Chinese medicine. All right, bend the knees, plant the feet. And then when you're ready, if you'd like to do just some, like this will be kind of our final little rinsing out here, just back and forth with the windshield wipers. And then come back and get whatever you need to stay warm and comfortable in Shavasana. So you can have your legs lengthening out, your arms beside you, or you can roll to your side. Just make sure you're comfortable. And then just begin to feel the bones of the legs drop. Feel the weight of the pelvis and the weight of the shoulder blades. Soften your biceps. Feel the hinge of your jaw empty. And soften all the muscles in your face so there's no expression on your face. Let your eyes sink down deep. And just give yourself a few minutes here to drop in a little deeper. And let it all go. And if you have a little bit more time, I encourage you to stay as long as you can in Shavasana. But otherwise, begin to deepen your breath. And you can circle your wrists and your ankles and gently move your head from side to side. And then begin to bend your knees, roll to your side, take a breath there. And as you press your way up, just allow your head to come up last. And then come to a comfortable seat. And just keep your eyes closed here for a second so that you can notice when you're sitting nice and tall, just begin to notice here how you feel in your mind and in your body. And then bring your palms right to your heart center to give yourself thanks for coming to look after yourself so that we can continue to look after others. And also a moment of gratitude, just thinking of something or someone that you're so grateful for. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Namaste.